For a session presented by Sandals Resorts International, please welcome to the stage the Executive Chairman of Sandals Resorts International, Adam Stewart, in conversation with Skift President Carolyn Kremins.
Hello again. Adam, I love having you back. It's been a few years.
It's good to be back.
Thanks for joining us.
What's going on, New York?
New York in the house. So I want to focus on, since we last spoke, on how your vision is evolving with Sandals. And it seems like you're being very intentional. I've been following you, and it seems like you've been very intentional with all the ways that you're continuing to shape and evolve the Sandals brand. You just recently launched a new campaign. Have any of you seen it? It's called Made in the Caribbean. If you haven't seen it, follow Adam.
I hope you've seen it.
Follow Adam on Instagram. First of all, it's just entertaining just to follow him regardless. But that's where I first got a look at this campaign. So tell us, like, what made you not only invest in it, but tell us the story that you're looking to frame.
I will. Well, our chief marketing officer is sitting right there, Tony, who is a real genius, been with the brand more than 30 years. And Sandals was founded in 1981. I always say I was born in 1981. It's founded by my dad, self-made entrepreneur from Jamaica. He's a fifth generation Jamaican. I'm a sixth. And over the years, the brand just grew. If a competitor had one pool, we wanted two pools. If they had two restaurants, we wanted four restaurants. We always wanted to give consumers more than they expect and sort of reshape the all-inclusive segment. And we lost my dad in 2021. He was 79 years old. The group was just embarking on its 40th year. And we said after 4 decades sort of leading, at any point in time over those 4 decades, we were leading the all-inclusive category. We asked ourselves that question, who are we? And it's a very difficult question to answer. You have to get out there and do the dirty work and talk to consumers that said they would never come to your resorts, talk to consumers that have been to your resorts, talk to all the different age demographics. And it brought us right back to those 3 words right there, made of Caribbean. We are pedigree, born and raised, operated by, in and of the Caribbean. Across the archipelago, we're 20,000 team members, of which 97% of them are Caribbean nationals. And it just felt right. It's who we were. It's our heritage. We're from the region. And that comes through. Caribbean nationals have an embedded, almost like Intel inside, right? Like an embedded swag. And we unlock that through our training and development programs and allow them to be the best version of themselves and create that connection with their customers. So everything about it, whether it's the farmers or the fishers or the archipelago of the Caribbean in and of itself, all of what is the Caribbean comes through and is encouraged and pushed heavily across the Sandals and Beaches portfolio.
Yeah, I would say that it's just super authentic. It just seems like you really get an idea of that everything is really localized and very authentic, which it's a nice job on that. So you mentioned the late Butch Stewart, who I had a great pleasure of knowing. And he was really Sandals 1.0, right? He dropped out of high school at 15. He was in the appliance business, and then, like you said, in 1981, he found a plot of land, and the rest is history. But he really built the Sandals brand from the ground up, and now you're kind of like Sandals 2.0, right? You're taking next generation, taking the business to new places, taking the brand to new places. But you're also probably tasked with evolving that legacy, right? And you're putting your name on it and all of that. So how does one evolve a legacy? Anything from the product to just how you show up.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, it's been a wild ride, right? So if you go back to the 80s, if you're from New York, you know Liberty Go-Go, the wholesalers and the tour ops and the travel trade and the travel agent distribution.
You just brought me back, like on every corner.
I mean, they were the giants, right?
Yeah.
And you have to kind of look backwards as to who we were. I was a full-blown product of child labor, and so many people have been with our group for 25, 30, 35, 40 years, like from the very get-go. And you have to give credit to Club Med, who really created the category. And in many ways, we feel we perfected in the land-based side of the category. We just kept evolving and debunking that notion that all-inclusive couldn't be quality. The first to bring hair dryers to the Caribbean, the first to bring color television to the Caribbean, the first to bring butler service, the first to bring over-the-water bungalows. You know, that list of innovations is long. And my dad was an extraordinary force, and he created a platform that so many of us just wanted to double down and take further. So Sandals 2.0, as we affectionately call it, is a commitment to the future, to our customers, to the region, to our farmers, our fishers, our taxi drivers, to manufacturing, you know, the economics of the Caribbean. We're the largest employer, we're the largest economic earner, we're a top 500 super brand, first ever in the Caribbean's history. You know, it's like Bob Marley and Sandals Resorts. They're like the two most famous things that have come out of the Caribbean. And we know, and we're proud of, that we come from the most beautiful part of the entire globe. And we invest in that because we believe in that, and we've been able to achieve, you know, best of the best in pretty much every category with Caribbean execution. And you know, we are from a developing part of the world. By virtue, when you say that, you're sort of on your back foot. And we've been able to show that what is of and from the Caribbean can stand on the world stage. But the tapestry that we develop on, you know, the Almighty created it. It is literally God's country. So the mountains and the rivers and the beaches and everything that you put together, and then we power it by these extraordinary people of the Caribbean, train them, 100% of training, all the way to getting your master's is paid for by Sandals, free of cost to our team members. We design the most extraordinary architecture, and we have a ton of fun doing it every single day.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you also apply that same approach, I assume, to beaches. So Sandals, as you probably know, is an adult only, a lot of honeymooners and couples, but beaches is your family resort. And at Skift, we've been writing a lot over the last year about multi-generational travel. I think you have a lot of probably multi-generational families
Sure.
coming through. Like, have you seen a difference in the way families travel?
We have, and Beaches was founded in '97, and it came out of Sandals being born, customers coming and having the time of their life, starting families and wanting the same quality. And we built 3 beaches resorts, 2 in Jamaica and 1 in Turks and Caicos that just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's an extraordinary hotel. And every time, we're a completely private company. We own the brand, we own the management company, we own our concrete. And every time we found another beaches, there was like a better Sandals opportunity, and that kind of held beaches back. So we're building our beaches. This is opening in Turks and Caicos. So we'll have 1,000 rooms, 3,000 staff, 30 restaurants in this hotel. We'll cook 40,000 meals a day in this thing. It's a machine overall. We're building one in Exuma in the Bahamas. We're building one in Barbados. And I'll give you an announcement today, hot off the press.
I love when he breaks news on stage.
We're building
Nothing makes a Skift happier when we can break some news.
We're just acquiring a piece of land in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where we just opened our last Sandals last year, and it's been so extraordinary. It's just the most amazing island in the Caribbean, very untouched, off the beaten path. Never had a major international airport until 2017, so it's like right there, accessible. But and we love that. So when we went into St. Vincent last year, we increased airlift 300%. Google search went up 88%.
Wow.
They call it the Sandals effect. All tides rise. Everyone's ADRs went up. Everyone's thriving. It feels really good to be able to do it. So we're gonna build a beaches resort there.
Oh, fantastic! It's like the Taylor Swift effect, but it's a Sandals effect.
It's a
right?
Swifty effect, but it's called a sandalization effect in our world.
Now, if you could get her to come to Sandals, right? Forget it.
That'd be good.
But so let's talk about it a little bit more, because you've mentioned that before, and I think it's really important that tourism and Sandals has really worked closely with the government and is fueling really like the life and well-being on the island. You mentioned before, you have 95% of your 20,000 employees are Caribbean nationals. So, like, do you feel like a weight to that? There's certainly a responsibility?
I think it's extraordinary to be able, to be a family that's completely self-made, not from hospitality, to have created this hospitality enterprise, which is effectively the benchmark. If there's an award, we've pretty much won it. We want to win them all. particularly these days on ESG, sustainability, by doing right. But we really fascinate over training and development. So taking people with these extraordinary natural talents and gifts and being able to put them through the Sandals machinery. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we employed 480 Vincentians, that's what they call the nationals, 2 years before we started recruiting for the hotel, deployed them through the Caribbean, all with a singular goal to get them, to get them seated and rooted in the Sandals culture so they could come home and take the leadership positions, in the resort, which is phenomenal. So increase airlift, increase destination marketing. Every 30 seconds to 60 seconds in North America, there's a Sandals or Beaches commercial promoting the islands of the Caribbean, creating several billion media impressions every year that say Jamaica, St. Lucia, Antigua, Barbados, Turks and Caicos, branding the destination equally as branding Sandals, the business. So it's, it's amazing to be from our part of the world and to get the love and support from the world, to be able to run an enterprise at this level. And, we kind of feel like we're just warming up.
Do you also grow most of your food? Where does your food come from? Your food supply?
It depends on the island. So Jamaica, for example, which is my grandfather used to say, if you stick your finger in the ground in Jamaica, it'll start to grow. So 90% of our ground provisions come farm to table from a local farmer within 24 hours, fresh to our table. If you take an island like Turks and Caicos, it doesn't have the land mass to be able to do that, so we have to import quite a bit. But they do grow things like onions, and you get fresh seafood and conch, and whatever they can grow, we'll acquire. And we have a whole division that just buys locally first, including using taxi drivers. We're not buying our own buses. We outsource it to CEOs, that the driver is the CEO of the bus. Put farmers in business, help them to stage, grow the crops, then give them contracts to buy back the product. And it's a cycle of life. And the ecosystem of what we do in the Caribbean is unbelievable. Our democracy is strong, alive, progressive. And the Caribbean is having its moment. Yeah. It really is.
When we were talking right before we went on stage, I saw your finger. You had just come to vote, and it was, you had, they dip in ink.
We just had the election in Jamaica last week, completely, smooth process. And it's, if I sound like I love the Caribbean, it's because I do. And if you haven't been, don't worry, nobody's perfect. You can still come.
Well, that is a great place to end. If anyone is made of the Caribbean, it's you, Mr. Adam Stewart. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Love everybody.